I'm
Hi,
Li-
I'm
okay.
Hi, I'm Kim Camacho, and this is my husband Lito.
We're currently based both in Singapore and Manila. We maintain two homes. I work out of Singapore, but we also spend a lot of time in our home in Manila and our farm outside of Manila. Well, we bought the house over 30 years ago, and we lived there for a long time. Our children grew up in this house. Then we moved to Singapore 15 years ago. By then, our collection had become quite big. So we started thinking about renovating. So when we were designing the house, it was really purposely built for art.
We started collecting way back in 1981, and we tried to keep up to date with what's going on in the art scene. Then we check if there's anything really that strikes our fancy. If it does, then we go into more in-depth study, like who really is the artist, what is his body of work, and if it all works out, then maybe we take the plunge.
And when we take the plunge, we take a very big plunge. So I think, as Kim was saying, it's extremely rewarding to know the artist, because when you look at the works, you can see it in a different light. When you know how the artist is thinking.
That happened with Eddie Probondono and his Vespa. We liked the Vespa the first time we saw it in Art Stage in Singapore. And then we met the artist in Art Basel in Hong Kong. And we instantly took a liking to him. Then we talked about the Vespa, and he said it was still available, and he gave us a prize. We said, okay, let's go get it.
What I didn't realize was that he had constructed the Vespa to actually make it easy to transport. You can actually separate the different parts into smaller pieces.
The Japanese government invited Lito and me to visit Japan and write out our own itinerary, what we wanted to see, whom we wanted to meet, etc. I told them I just wanted to see the museums and go to art exhibitions. And the one that struck me the most was this retrospective in the National Museum of Modern Art, Tokyo. And it was by this artist, Yayoi Kusama, that I had not heard of before. I told Lito, if there's just 1 hour that you can spare, this is the exhibit that you must see.
I snuck out of my official meetings, took an hour to see the museum and the works of Yayoi Kusama. And I was awed by her art. About a year later, we moved to Singapore. One day while staying alone in the house, I saw this invitation addressed to the previous tenant. And it was an invitation to an exhibition of Yayoi Kusama in one of the galleries in Singapore. So I excitedly called Kim and said, hey, there's a Kusama exhibit here. Kim was arriving in Singapore from Manila on the last day of the exhibit in the afternoon. So I told the galleries, please keep the gallery open. My wife's coming from the airport straight to your gallery because we will make a final decision on what piece we're going to get. And I guess that was the start of our collecting Kusama.
At the Singapore Biennale in 2006, which was the first Biennale of Singapore, they showed a ladder to heaven, which they put in a Hindu temple. And that's the one that's there now.
We have a philosophy that when we buy art, we want to be able to exhibit it in our home. We went around the house, looking for the right spot for it. And thankfully, we did find the perfect spot.
The other thing also that, we both try to do is to keep the collection looking fresh, so that when good friends come, they say, oh my gosh, it looks different again.
It would be nice that people get the impression that it's a very studied collection where, that obviously was well thought out, well researched. It's a collection that took time to put together, and it took a lot of effort to be able to exhibit them in a proper way.
For young collectors, aim high, spend as much money as they can afford. if it's a good piece, you'll never regret it.
You go to an art fair, you know, there are hundreds of nice art, right? So you have to, you know, try to develop an eye to be able to distinguish what really appeals to you.